You are now tuned in to Hot Topics with Donna. And on this show, we do one thing: keep it real hot. That's honest, open, and transparent. If you didn't know, now you know. So sit back and unwind as we bring the vibe and a little bit of glorious sunshine to your heart, soul, and mind. Your lovely host, Hot Donna, will be with you in just a few moments. But while you wait, go ahead and set an atmosphere of peace in your space. If you can, cut the lights down low, get your hydration on, vibration zone. Cause tonight, you're about to receive some delicious food for your soul. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? It's about to get indeed the one and only place to be this evening. We appreciate you for joining us, and in just a few moments, we about to turn the heat all the way up. That's right. It's about to go down right now on Hot Topics with Donna. Show your virtual love by smashing that thumbs up and heart icon as many times as you can. And without further ado, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing your host, the one and only Hot Donna.
Hello, 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 everybody. Hope you guys are having an amazing Martin Luther King Day if you celebrate it. So I am going to get started so I can bring my beautiful guest on here. And so the word that I chose today for her is faith. And I'm going to read you the scripture. It says, now faith is an assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. And that's Hebrews 11:1. And our faith will take us a long way, even in our trials, no matter what we go through. So I am your host, Donna Taylor, here with Hot Topics with Donna. Hot stands for honest, open, and transparent, and that's what we do here. And so before I get started, remember, um, I am a published author of An Imperfect Marriage Saved by Grace. I have three hard copies on hand right now. So if you would like one, just inbox me and you will get an autographed copy for $20, or you can go online and get it on Amazon. I'm super excited about that. I'm just super excited about what God is doing in my life in this season, in 2023. And so I am going to be giving away this gift for the new year. It's like a little coffee mug or whatever you choose to put in it. It has little sticky notes at the bottom. And so during the live, and it says liquid joy. So it can be, if it's your coffee, your tea, whatever it is, you can get this as a free gift, complimentary of Hot Topics with Donna. I will send it to you. All you have to do is inbox me. So whenever I ask you the question, then the first person that I see on this end will receive this gift. So I gave one away last week, I think. So I will give you my answer or my question to redeem this. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and bring my guest on. Let's get her on. I'm super excited. Guys, let me tell you something. I've been lazy all day. Haven't done anything. But one thing I want to say about the word that I chose today, faith, we really have to tap into our faith, because sometimes Satan will come in and start trying to play with our mind, and make us, try to get us off track. And I am learning that in this season because my faith has really been tested. But nevertheless, I am going to stand on God's promises, no matter what it looks like. So, hey, beautiful, how are
Hello,
you?
hello. How are you, Queen?
I am good. How are you? And so that's the word that I chose for you is faith. Because when I see you, that's what I see in you. Faith.
Well,
And
thank you.
so how do you keep your faith?
Wonderful question. Good evening, everyone. How do I keep my faith? It's so it's funny you say that because I speak with my spouse all the time, and I don't know if I'm getting feedback or if you're getting feedback, but I speak with my spouse all the time, and it's always kind of like I'm the one that's like, it's going to work out. I know it's going to work out. And I wholeheartedly believe it has everything to do with my faith in God, and my faith in knowing that there is a promise that has
Mm,
been bestowed upon us all,
yeah.
you know, that everything will work out. You believe in me, you believe in what I have said in my word, and it will come together. It will work out. Now, it may not come when you want them, as they say, but it's
Absolutely.
always on time.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, very
And
true.
so with that being said, when you find that your faith has been challenged or been challenged by different things, how do you just maintain?
Having a great support system helps, between my spouse and my mom.
Mhm.
I think they are key to being able to just get over another hurdle. You
Yeah.
know, I had something very well. Let's talk about 2020 as an example. 2020 was a rough year for me, but I mean,
Mhm.
I actually shut completely down. Like, I was like,
Mm.
listen, I don't want to talk to anybody. The only people that I actually spoke to was my spouse and my mom.
Wow.
And they were both and this was for 4, 5, 6 months.
Wow.
Um, and everybody was calling, is Purusha okay? Is Purusha okay? And I mean, I just had to just be like, listen, just let them know I'm okay. I just need this time
Absolutely.
to myself. But I've been blessed to have a very supportive system, of people.
Absolutely.
I mean, people even just showed up to my house like, hey, girl, you right? you know. Uh, so I'm definitely, I'm thankful for my tribe. I'm thankful for my mom. I'm thankful for my spouse. You
Yeah.
know, those are the people that kind of just really
Mhm.
um, just help me to get through those things, any challenging things. I don't know. I tell people all the time. I mean, I believe again in what God said, but at the end of
Right.
the day, if something happened to my mama, God knows. I mean, I'm sure that's
Right.
with anyone.
Right.
You might as well just wrap me up in a straitjacket,
Yeah.
because I lean on her a lot, for
Absolutely.
her support, for her guidance, So, yeah.
Yeah. And so, God, I'm full today. So tell people who you are, where you reside, and we're just going to continue this
Yes,
conversation.
definitely. Well, my name is Purusha Jones-Shearin. I am Bull City Strong. I'm in the Durham, North Carolina. Um, I am the co-founder and pageant director of the Miss Full Figure North Carolina and
Mhm.
Virginia pageant.
Mhm.
And I'm a plus size model on the side. And what else? I design. I love to
Yep.
make jewelry. I love to make fascinators.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a queen of all trades, if you will. What else? There's so much about me, but I mean, those are the kind of the main things that I focus
Right.
on. Someone asked me today, as a matter of fact, how do you have time? I kind of make the time when
Mhm.
it's needed. Like, if I don't make the time, like, nobody else is going to
Mhm.
make the time for me. Or God is
Absolutely.
going to say, all right, sis, you got to slow on down. you know, you
Absolutely.
know? Yeah.
And I met you, God, we met. We met several years
Yeah.
ago, and I think it had to be like 2012,
Okay.
2013, and
Yeah.
that's when I was just embarking on this fashion
Yeah.
world. And
That's
I
right.
remember you just gave me good pointers, good advice just to be who I am.
That's
And
right.
one thing about me, I embrace people who never change.
Mm. Mm.
And you've never changed since then. Never. Never changed, never waver. And for me, that speaks volume about people when you encounter that they never change faces. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just want to tell you, I appreciate that because you've never changed. Never.
Well, I've grown a lot. I have definitely grown a lot over the last 10 years.
Right,
I'm embracing a lot of who I am and who I'm meant to be. You
right.
know, I didn't know that, from that conversation or even at that point in my life
Mhm.
where the next 10 years was going to lead me,
Right.
and so, I mean, change is subjective. Like, I'm still Purusha, right?
Mhm.
But I've grown to be
Right.
this woman that a lot of people see before them. I used to have confidence issues. I used to have, self-esteem issues. Believe it or not,
Girl, wait.
people don't believe me when I say that, you know.
No, no, no. And that is like, because I'm telling you, like we've been knowing each other a long time.
Right,
And to hear you say that, it's like, because I knew you had confidence, and that's just how I'm
right.
just being real. I always saw you with confidence, never being arrogant or nothing
Mhm,
like that. But to
mhm.
say that you didn't have confidence, and like, I'm just like, that's why I always say you never judge a book by
That's
its
right.
cover, because you never know what people are enduring in
That's
their
right.
own personal journey.
That's right. That's right, definitely. I think, of course, as the old saying goes, a lot of that came from my childhood. I had a very
Mhm.
tumultuous childhood. I was abused as a child and all
Right.
of that. And so, discovering who I am, or, it took me a while to discover who I was because a lot of my past was
Mhm.
caught up in my past. A lot of
Right.
who I am was caught up in my past.
Right.
Um, and to be honest, like I had, for the longest time, I had stage fright. Like, to
Mm.
be able to public speak, like to even do this interview that we're doing now, like I've gained so much confidence doing it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and what has helped me is that, of course I have a pageant. So I have women that I have to be able to instill and say, you can do this. And if I didn't
Mhm.
have confidence myself, how am I going to be able to pour into someone else to be able to do exactly what we're doing here? So I had to
Right.
find my voice, build my confidence, lean on my faith, and know that it is okay. I am
Yeah.
okay. I am confident. I am, I feel assured. I know that I am capable of doing everything anyone else can do. So,
And so when you started Miss Full Figure in 2014, how did that come about? Did that come about because of how you felt about yourself at that time and you wanted to empower other women as well?
well, okay, so I started following the CEO, Miss Teresa Randolph. She has the Miss Full Figure USA pageant. She's out of Newark, New Jersey. And I started following her on Facebook.
Mhm.
And I saw that she was doing pageants. And up until that point, maybe 10, 15 years or so, I had been doing modeling.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, a pageant, that should be a no-brainer. I've raced the runway before,
Right,
Little
right.
did I know, of course, in pageantry, you have to speak.
Yeah.
But I did it, I didn't practice it enough, so I didn't even place, right? So
Mhm.
I thought at least congeniality, like I have a personality,
Right, right, right.
I help people, I try to inspire people, right? But that wasn't what God had planned for me.
Right.
So I reached out to the CEO and I said, well, what do you think about expanding the Miss Full Figured USA brand? I think, it would be great to have a division here in North Carolina.
Right.
Up until that point, I believe they had attempted to actually have other divisions,
Mm-hmm.
but North Carolina became the first division in
Wow.
2014 to start and continuously
Mm-hmm.
have a division that's
Right.
operating and running.
Right.
And so in September 2015, we had our first successful pageant, but
Mm-hmm.
that's really how it all got started. I competed myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had a wonderful experience, and I thought to myself, there's got to be more to life than modeling. And so,
Absolutely. Yes.
especially for full-figured women,
Right.
I mean, 10 years ago, like, to be full-figured was like so taboo,
Right. Absolutely.
um, yeah. And so I thought this would be great in North Carolina, give the girls something else to do outside of modeling,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe they don't want to model. Maybe they just want to, speak about their platform and the things that are important
Absolutely.
to them. And so I reached out to her. I said, hey, well, what do you think about this? And I became the owner of my division here in North Carolina and Virginia. It took some time, of course, since the North Carolina pageant, since my ask. I mean, we have North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia,
Wow.
Alabama, Michigan, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Who else am I
Wow.
missing? Louisiana, Texas, DMV. Like we've gained, we've added on states, a lot of states since then. So I'm just excited to be a part of this brand. I'm excited to be a part of the journey. I mean, North Carolina right now is the longest running full figure
Wow.
pageant in North Carolina, and the Miss Full Figure USA pageant 34 years later is the longest running full figure pageant in the United States.
Well, you
So
got some
um,
beautiful women for
yes.
2023. I saw them. They are beautiful. But when some of these women come in, do they have a background in modeling, or they're just stepping out of their comfort zone, like you're saying, and say, hey, I can do this?
It's a mix. Some women that come in, they say, "Oh, I used to do pageants when I was little,"
Mm-hmm.
and I have to remind them, "Listen, pageants when you were little is going to be a whole different ball game when you come to the Miss Full Figure
Absolutely.
North Carolina pageant."
Absolutely.
You
Yes.
know, but a lot of them, some of them do just step out on faith. They've never done modeling before. They've never done pageantry before. They've never actually had a platform
Mm-hmm.
that allows them to speak on the topics that are important to them, and that's not to say that you have to have, you have to be in a pageant to be able to do that.
Right.
But I tell people use this as an opportunity because, we're pretty notable, if you will. Use
Mm-hmm.
this as an opportunity, as a stepping stone to what it is that you want to talk about, what you want people to know about. Yeah.
And do you find that, because like I kind of took a sabbatical from modeling because I knew that I wanted more.
Hmm.
And, and this platform is like, this is my baby. Like, I enjoy interviewing people, letting people see that there's so many different people doing so many different things. But do you find that modeling is becoming so what's the word, competitive, so like I have to have one up on you? And if so, I feel like the pageant, being in pageants would give them a foundation to say, I found my footing, I found what means something to me. Not saying that you can't model, but when you model, to me, you're expressing yourself on the runway. But for me, I want people to see me past the runway.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, it depends. Like, say for instance, with me, when I started modeling in undergrad, I started modeling at St. Aug in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
1996, actually, the spring semester of 1996. And once I like, not competed, I did that for years. And when I graduated in '03, I didn't know that there were plus size opportunities, modeling opportunities for plus size women. So I stopped seeking out those opportunities
Right.
until about 2013. Well, 2012, really, when I found out about the pageant and I was able to network and connect with those women. I'm building a story here. So,
Yeah, well, you have a lady on here, Miss Bridget said she said, good evening, Queens, our gorgeous director.
Queen Lanisha, that's my baby. um, I I listen. I have a little ADHD, so let me get back to the point. So I competed, and and then I was able to network with women in the pageant who told me
Right.
about modeling opportunities. And then, of course, I began to seek out those opportunities. But for me, I can only speak on who I am and what it is that I've done. I always use this as an opportunity, as a hobby. I've always
Mm-hmm.
used this as a hobby. I've never wanted to like take it to a whole new level of modeling and so forth because I just enjoy being on the runway. I
Right.
enjoy the feel of being in someone's tailored clothing or their boutique clothing or whatever, what have you. I enjoy, being confident on the runway and all of that. Of course, as far as the industry is concerned, do I feel like it's competitive? Not. It depends on everybody's individual purpose or goal or
Right. Right.
reasoning,
Right.
right? My like I said, my reasoning was just to be, to be on the runway and say that I'm doing something,
Right.
different than everybody else. And I really am. I mean, of course, I've met people through the years that I've
Yes.
been able to network and develop relationships with that
Mm-hmm.
have like-mindedness, as far as
Right.
modeling is concerned. But on the flip side of that, it's really just a toss up, right? Because I mean, some people are in it to do more. They want to see more. Like, say for instance, one of my queens that just just finished her reign last year, Walicia
Mhm.
Ely, she is actually in California right now.
Oh
Like
wow.
she won up her modeling opportunity. She just signed with Tracy Gray Modeling Agency,
Wow. That's
and she was actually modeling with me in undergrad. And she's done other opportunities. She did the pageant and so forth, and now she's
right.
with an agency and she's well over 40,
Right.
but she sought that opportunity because she wants to continue to do it, and you have to be methodical about it. You can't just say, oh, I'm a model, let me go take these risque photos. That's
Right.
not modeling.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is absolutely not modeling, and that's not going to get you the next biggest gig. That's not going to get you paid opportunities unless that's just the avenue of
Absolutely.
the
You
avenue
want
you
to
choose to go.
right.
But be methodical about what it is, and resourceful. Network with the
Mhm.
right people. You don't
Absolutely.
have to take it all off to be able to do what it is that you do. you know
Absolutely, absolutely. And so when these women, because it's from you do 18 to 60 and then 61 plus,
hmm
right? And so for full figure, what is a full figure size?
um Well, of course, in the industry, we'll say that we'll start there. Um, the traditional full-figured woman,
Mm-hmm.
her industry standards is size 8 and over. A lot of people don't know that. So when we say we are a full-figure pageant, we cater
Mm-hmm.
women 12 and over. People like women that are size 12 aren't plus size, but by industry standard, the
Mm-hmm.
industry standard is 8 and over. But
Wow.
we opted to choose to do size 12 and
Okay.
up. And for me, it was more so um a followed path, I guess, because that's where the national pageant started. So that's where we
Right.
start.
Right.
Um, by full figured standard, actually by the full figured industry, size 16, maybe 14, because of course it starts 14, 16,
Right.
is considered plus size,
Okay.
and then over, I don't know, over 20 something, like 26 or something, then they have a whole different category for that, BBW or
Mhm.
SSBW. I don't know. All these acronyms. Full figure is full figure to me.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so they have to be in those standards to become a
Mhm.
contestant or even to register. And
Yeah.
so what are the categories? How do what are the categories that they compete in to be Miss Full Figure?
Well, of course, our pageant is broken down in such a way that, say, for instance, someone that's 60 or 59 that competes, they don't have to compete with a 18 or 21-year-old. So
Right.
we have categories for the Miss Full Figured, North Carolina or Virginia. I changed my state pageant to 21 to 39, but we do have a category for 18 to, okay. So because I own my own division, right,
Right.
I opted
Right.
to incorporate a MISS category for young
Mhm.
women ages 18 to 20, sizes 12 and over.
Okay.
Okay. Traditionally, our pageant actually started from 18, but when you come in as an 18-year-old into a pageant and then you have to compete against someone that's 39 that may have way more experience than
Yeah.
that it's not a fair advantage. So I
Absolutely.
opted to create the 18 to 20 category for the MISS. Then I have Miss Full Figured for ages 21 to
Mhm.
39,
Okay.
sizes 12 to 16.
Mm.
Then then Miss Full Figured Plus, ages 21 to 39, sizes 18 to 26. And then I have Miss Exquisite, ages 40 to 60, for the more
Mm.
seasoned woman that does not
Yeah.
feel like, they have to compete with someone 21.
Right.
Um, sizes 12 to 16. And then I also have, a lot of people don't know this, but I've been really trying to push it, the category for Miss Elite, which is for women, definitely the more seasoned, mature
Yeah.
woman,
Yeah.
ages 61 and over.
Wow.
So we have those categories. Then we have some optionals: swimwear, talent, photogenic, cover girl, international, and fashionista. So we have 6 optional categories. Then it kind of just gets broken down even further. You have congeniality, people's choice, all that kind of stuff
Okay.
as well.
So they have a choice. They have a choice to, they can pick what they're feeling confident in.
Yes. Yes.
And so when they start to register, I know you got the 2023 contestants now.
Yeah.
So do y'all have rehearsals to, bring the pageant together? And if so, how often do you ladies meet?
Yes. So of course we start with the interviews, and it's not really, it's interviews for them to get to know who we are as an organization, us to get to know them, and then they can make their decision based on that. For the most part, we traditionally accept women that decide they want to do it. This
Right.
year we had over 40 women,
Wow.
40 women fill out applications, but not everybody followed through. And that happens, right?
Right. Right.
So it's life. It's life, right? Life,
Right. Right.
something may have happened in their lives. Maybe they weren't really serious. I don't know. But once we get through that process, we start with like our meet and greet. Everybody gets to meet each other if they're able to
Wow.
attend. And then we meet once a month.
Okay.
So for the most part, a lot of the meetings are in person. Of course, the last 2 years, all of the meetings were virtual.
Right. Right.
So we do meet at least once a month. Everybody right now this year is from as far over as Winston, High Point,
Wow.
and as far over as New Bern. So we are from almost coast to mountain
Right.
at this point. And we're really excited. As far down, of course, as Fayetteville, and as far up as Rocky Mount. So we have women from all over North Carolina this year, but we do meet once a month, either in person or virtually. And
And
so that's
so,
how oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I was just going to say that's how we end up pulling all the pieces together. And then, of course, in those meetings, we go over pageant prep. We go over speech and presentation.
Mm.
We go over pageant walk, the do's and don'ts of pageantry, talk about shapewear, a plethora of different things to make sure that everybody is prepared as much as they need to. Not only that, they get a pageant mentor. Their pageant mentor does all of those things. And then when we get together, what I do is just reiterate a lot of the things that their pageant mentor has already given them.
And so, do you find that, because in modeling, like a lot of times we don't know the do's and don'ts, especially with body wear. And have you found that, like, women that may never have been in the industry, like, are appreciative, like to know that, hey, they have this, shapewear, bodywear, even just for my everyday, or, if I'm going to a business meeting, or if I'm going to church, to make my clothes look even smoother.
Um, I think it's always an interesting topic, right? Because some people may feel like, oh, I'm plus size, I'm just gonna let it all hang out, but not with me, babe. You will not in my pageant. So
Right,
it's kind
right,
of like I'm introducing that for the first time.
right,
And, maybe they do appreciate it. No one has ever said, oh, because of you, now I wear shapewear and now I know that I
right.
look good. No one has actually ever said that, but I'm sure they feel it once they
Yeah,
actually put those clothes on and they're like, oh, I got a waistline, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So no one has ever
yeah.
actually said, "Oh, Miss Purusha, thank you so much. This shapewear changed my life." But I'm sure they do appreciate it in some aspects.
And so, if people want to, yeah, ladies, seasoned ladies, want to be a part of your pageants, how often do you do your registration? Because I know you just did this one and it's closed, correct?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once a year, I start actually recruiting in June, not June,
Hmm.
in July or August,
Hmm.
and so it runs from July till about October, and then it's just once a year, really. And so, of course, this is our 8th anniversary,
Wow.
and it's been such an amazing journey. We get to meet some amazing women.
Yeah.
We've gotten to meet some amazing women through the
Hmm.
years. But it's just once a year. They just go to the website, or they come to my page, or they'll go to the Facebook page, Miss Full Figure North Carolina Pageant, or of course Purusha Jones-Shearin, or
Right.
www.missfullfigurencpageant.com, and they can register there as well. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and ask the question. So for the women that want to do the pageant, and they're not full figure, have you ever thought about like catering to them as well?
I have, but the reality for me is because I run 2 pageants at a time, I just don't have the time. I'm
Right,
married,
right,
right? I have
right,
a fur baby. I
right.
try to visit some of the other state pageants when I can, because I mean, this process for me, it's about an eight month process from the time of
Wow.
maybe even longer, from the time of recruiting, constantly recruiting on social media, going
Wow.
out, meeting people, going to different events, vendor
Mhm.
events, all that kind of stuff, handing out flyers, all of that, and then we jump into the pageant process, and from that point it's 6 months. So from July to October, it's just all recruitment. It's all about recruitment, and then we start the process, and then that runs from November to May. Now, it was different last year, not last year, the last 2 years, because of, the pandemic. We
Right,
actually had to change our pageant. Our pageant used to be in October,
right.
and now it's in May, because 2020, I wasn't doing not in everything. You couldn't pay me to put a pageant on in 2020. Okay. But since then, what the biggest issue, and this is, I actually spoke to another pageant queen from a different division, and she said what a lot of people have been running into, unfortunately, is that people are trying to recoup their money, and these places and these venues are astronomical. Like, it's
Mhm.
it's been really tough for a lot of us that do pageants to find affordable venues. Like, even now, I'm like, at this point, I might do the pageant at a high school theater,
Right, right.
because it's accessible, it's
Yeah,
probably more affordable,
right.
and they don't use their theater on the weekend.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
And so,
So
do you change different venues every year when you were doing the pageants?
yes, that this is the luck of the draw, because each year we have different amount of contestants,
Right.
right? So, say for instance, the venue that I used last year fit exactly the amount of people that I needed, whereas where I have say for instance, last year I had like 11 contestants.
Right.
This year I have 16 or
Wow.
17 contestants. They would not be able to fit in that space along with their family and friends based
Right.
on what they're saying as far as their family and friends. Like some of the girls are like, oh, I'm gonna have 30 people there this year. And I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
oh, well, I
Right.
need a bigger venue, you know?
Absolutely.
So each year, unfortunately, it has to keep changing because it's always based on the amount of contestants that
Absolutely.
actually participate. Yeah.
Mm. And so, do you ever break? Because you design earrings and you do
Mhm.
design hats, and it's called Essence Soul Creations, correct?
Yes.
So how did you get in there? But you have some banging earrings. I'm on your page. You have some nice creative stuff. And
Yeah.
so how did that come about?
I think, honestly, when I started modeling back, not modeling, when I started modeling again back in 2013 and getting back into the industry, if you
Hmm.
will,
Hmm.
I don't know. I found some creativity somewhere. I never even knew that I was creative. Like growing up,
Wow.
I was always an average student,
Right.
like I mean, I went to, elementary school, high school, college, graduated, and I didn't even discover that I even
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed making things until I got a small little kit from Joann's, and they had like a earring set, and I was like, oh, well, that was fun, you know.
Right.
And
Right.
then I just started buying things. I was like, okay, well, this is cute, this is that. And then I started getting inspired. Like I started just doing some research on different pieces, and
Right.
um I was like, oh, I could really do this. Like I didn't, it was like an untapped talent I didn't even know I had,
Right. Right.
and that's really how it got started. And I changed the name a couple of times through the years. It was Authentically You, it
Right.
was Prima Bella, it was a lot of different things. And then during COVID, or during the pandemic, I started to look within. And
Right.
I've always been Essence. Like a lot of people don't know that, but when I in high school, I gave myself the name Essence because
Oh.
it's a part of my original name. My name, of course, is Purusha, um,
Hmm.
Purusha Sukta, which is Indian. It's
Right.
East Indian, and
Right.
means the soul of man. A lot of people don't know that either,
Right.
but I got the name from just some research, and I was like, oh, Essence, that's who I am.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I tapped into my soul, and so it
Mhm.
was Essence Soul Creations.
And I remember, hey Danielle, she's on here. Thanks, people, everyone for tuning in. Because I remember the first time I wore some of your earrings. God, and I think that was just when I had met you too. We did a fashion show in Virginia,
Hmm.
and that's when I met Jonice and everybody, and we wore your earrings.
Yeah.
That I
Yeah.
mean, like that's been a long. I mean,
It's been
like
a long time. It's been a long time. And
yeah,
I thank God for vision, because it's become so much more than I could have ever imagined. I get
yeah.
inspired a lot by a young woman that I follow on YouTube. Her
Mm-hmm.
name is LaJoytra, or
Mm-hmm.
Joyce McTeer. She's
Mm-hmm.
on her company is called LaJoyce Creations, but Joyce
Mm-hmm.
McTeer, and she makes some of the most phenomenal pieces. And I think to myself, how did she think about that? And then I think to myself, well, I can think about stuff too. So, if she makes something, I'm like, well, let me make it, but I'm going to make it different. And
Right,
I'm
right.
a very visual person, and I'm very
Mm-hmm.
hands-on. So if I see somebody doing something, I can actually just piece it all together and make it work. Just like
Yeah.
with my fascinators, one of my girlfriends, shout out to Bijou, she's on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Yasso Creations. I don't know if you all are familiar with the Yasso Creations, but
Mm-hmm.
Bijou Jewel, she's on social media. Anyway, she does African attire,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually had her help me. We did an African themed, African themed 19 um 19, like the Roaring 20s
Mm-hmm.
event, a fashion show. And she made these beautiful fascinators. We actually made them together, And I was like, oh, this is fun, you know, and the
Right.
creativity just kept going. And I just took it from there. The biggest issue that I have with myself is that I create, I create, I create, and I never sell, not everything.
Well, and you know what? And I mean, and like all the stuff you create, you should just have Marsha just do a table out
Yes,
there, like at these,
I
you
know.
know, at these events that we do,
Yeah,
the you know, the modeling. And
yeah.
like my daughter-in-law, she has started creating earrings
Hmm.
too, and she makes some fabulous stuff. And I'm
Hmm.
just like, man, like that's just too much time
Yeah,
consuming. Like you said, you have to, when you get engrossed, you have to complete it.
that's right.
And she is doing phenomenal. She's in California, and I'm just like, wow, like that's good when God give us these talents that we don't know. Some of us know, and some of us don't. But
Mm.
when we can give people a piece of us,
Yeah, yeah. It is, you know, it's funny because I did a show in Fayetteville a couple months ago. That was Anidra Wall. She had a show down in Fayetteville a couple months ago.
wait,
The
at this at the pink
the plush model, you know, she has
yeah,
plush model. Yeah,
yeah,
and so we were you at that show? Yeah, you were at that show because we talked
yeah,
about it, right? That's right.
yeah.
So I just did that show, and you know, I featured some denim earrings, and it was the first time that I had ever actually sold right off the runway. I
Wow,
made 13 pieces and I sold 7 of those pieces. And
wow.
I was like, wow, like, okay,
Yes,
God, what is it that you're trying to tell me? You know?
yes,
And
yes,
so it was amazing to know that, you know what, Purusha, you can do this. People will buy your stuff,
yes,
you
yes.
know. And speaking of which, I feel so bad because one of the pieces that I had, it needed to be adjusted, and I have to get it back to Janice because she bought a piece from me and it needed to be
Right,
adjusted. And I
right.
just so happened to
You need to
look
be a
over there and
vendor,
it's sitting
and
right there.
yes, you
What's
need to
that?
start vendor. I mean, because
I
I'm
know.
sure you have so many pieces, and you just need to be a vendor and put it out there.
I low key can open up my own shop.
See, Miss Bridges said absolutely. I mean, because this is the thing. You have the product.
Hmm.
It's amazing.
Thank
And
you.
it's not going to do you any good just sitting there. I
I
mean,
know.
you might as well be able to sit on the runway,
That's
sit at
right.
church,
That's right.
you know, and have people just take pictures when they have your pieces on.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's been because even you know, Denisha and Angel, Denisha was like last night. She's been actually asking me for like 2 weeks. Are you gonna make Angel a piece? She has a show coming up. She has a pageant coming up. You need to make Angel a denim, some damn denim earrings. And I was like, okay. The ones
Yeah,
that she actually wanted had already sold,
right.
so now I have to recreate those. So I just want to make sure that I have the right fabric and all that kind of stuff, and make
So
sure I have the right colors.
when
But
you make the denim earrings, is it from you get the fabric, or is it from like denim jeans or jackets that you no longer use anymore?
I actually, what I did sometime last year during the pandemic, the not the what is the place called? Like one of those thrift stores, like the Salvation Army, as an
Mhm,
example. I can't
mhm,
remember what it was at the time.
mhm.
They did a $5 bag fill up,
Wow.
and I fill those bags up with all those jeans, all them denim jeans,
Yes,
all those denim
yes.
products. And I had a vision back then in 2020 that, or 2021, that I wanted to make denim earrings. And it took me a whole year to actually get back to the denim. But yes, I do buy the denim jeans. I mean, I was able to fill that bag up with, I mean, at least 10 pair of
Wow,
jeans. It was great. It was great. So
wow.
I do up upcycle my things. Hmm.
Right, right. And so what's next for you? I know your pageant is coming up, but I was on your page and I looked at those women and I was like, wow, they are really beautiful. And I was like, I kind of got low key jealous because I'm like, I'm not full figure, but like,
You know, I wish there was enough hours in the day.
yeah.
I was actually speaking to a business consultant, because I have to get a business consultant at this point because 8 years, I want to do more, but I want to make sure
Right.
that I'm managing my time well, I'm managing my household well, I would love to do more. Like I initially had started a teen pageant back
Mhm,
in 2021, and I
mhm,
call that the Miss NC Royal Teen Pageant. I was actually going to convert that to for petite women,
mhm.
and it's timing,
Yeah,
right? Because if
yeah.
I'm running the Miss Full Figure North Carolina pageant 6 months and then consecutively running the Virginia pageant
Mhm.
for 6 months, I
Then
still got
somebody
to find
gonna
that
fall
balance.
short.
I
Yeah.
still got to
And
I guess, it's all. I would love to, and I would ultimately love to do this full time, but it has to be sustainable. It has to make
absolutely.
sense,
Yes.
because a lot of people think that there's huge amount of money in um, pageantry, and it could be if I had the right opportunities, if I had the sponsors and
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
But I don't
Absolutely.
have sponsors. Like I have a lot of in-kind sponsors and so forth, and that's great, but it needs to be sustainable as
Mhm.
well,
Absolutely.
yeah. So
And
what's next for me
it's
is the
coming.
pageant. That's it.
It's coming because Shayna, right? Shayna Jones. Like she been trying to get me to into these pageants. I'm like, girl, I don't know. But and that's one thing that I do want to do because that's something that's outside of my box.
Comfort zone.
Um, I can walk the runway because I've just learned to build my own confidence and to know that I'm in my own lane. I'm on my own journey.
That's right.
And so to do something of that magnitude for me would truly be stepping out my comfort zone.
I
Like
think you
I
would
get
do
nervous saying,
phenomenal in it.
I get
I
nervous singing at church when they be talking about Donna, you gonna lead this song. I'm just like, girl, bye. Y'all better know.
I think you would do phenomenal, and that's the beauty about the pageant that Sheena has. It is for all size women.
Yeah,
Well, that she has, but that she's on the royal court of, or the queen
right,
of queens, if you will.
right,
It's for all size women,
right.
and who knows if I can get with my business consultant and she says, listen, this is our plan of
Yes,
action,
yes, yes.
then, but I want to also make sure that whatever that plan of action also allows me time for me, because
Absolutely.
I wholeheartedly believe, and I tell my pageant girls this all the time, that
Mhm.
self-preservation is self-love. We can't keep pouring and pulling and allowing ourselves to be pulled here and there and
Absolutely.
everywhere and then lose sight of who we are as an individual.
A-
We
ab-
have to find time for ourselves.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I loved about your quote. You said, you glow differently when your confidence is fueled by belief in yourself instead of validation from
That's
others.
right.
And, and, and I, like you didn't have a lot of self-confidence because I allowed people and circumstances to change that. But when I found me,
Come on.
when I found me, and when I found me in Christ, when He said, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, I'm just like, I'm enough.
Hmm.
May not be enough for everybody else,
Yes.
but I'm enough for me, and I'm enough for Him.
Come on. Come on.
And,
Come on. Like
and,
the tears in
and,
my arms.
and I'm trying not to tear, and that's how I'm living my life, especially in 2023. I'm just enough for me, and I'm enough for Him. And if I'm enough for Him, then I have it all right now. You
We
know,
have
yes,
everything within us to be great. We just need to know it within ourselves.
yes, yes. And when I saw that, and I was like, wow, that is so powerful because when women get together,
Hmm.
they need to feel this
That's right.
without feeling intimidated by
Hmm.
the next woman.
That's right.
And when we get this, then we can lift our sisters up
That's right.
and still
That's
know
right.
who we are not feeling like, oh, she got this or she got that. But when we get this, then we can truly love who we are and love
Mhm.
our sister.
That's right. That's
You know?
right. And it starts within. A lot of
Yeah.
people have allowed social media and the ways of the world to consume their thoughts
Yes.
and how they should feel about someone else,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And a lot of people aren't rooted in the belief that God made everybody, like you said, fearfully and wonderfully
Yeah.
made,
Yeah.
just as they are you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
I'm not going to act like I've always known this.
No, no,
I've
me neither.
fallen victim to be the chatty one about this one and how she's
Right.
dressed and this
That's
that, and
it.
the third.
Yes.
I
Yes.
have fallen victim to that,
Yes.
but I
Yes.
also know that we are here for a purpose that's so much bigger than worrying about what everybody else is doing and how
Absolutely.
they're looking you
Absolutely.
know
Absolutely.
Whew,
And,
girl,
and
listen.
you know what the beauty of it is when we get it, when that light bulb clicks and you say, well, I'm not the judge and juror because I done been there, I done been down that road. And going down that road is so draining. It
Mhm.
kills you. It's toxic.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, and then
Because you
you're
got to
like,
keep
wow,
that up. You got to keep that persona up within and your mind allows you to do that.
yes,
The
yes,
devil is busy all the time,
all the time.
you know?
Yes. And I found myself like, this is the only page. I still have a personal page. People be inboxing me and be like, I inbox you. Look, I don't even check that no more because I'm on a different path.
Right.
And this is the only thing that I need because people on Facebook are out, instead of them saying tested lying, a lot of them are fake lying and Facebook
Mm,
lying. And then, like you said, we get consumed with that when we should just love who we are. You
that's
know
right.
what? We all miss the mark. But the thing about it is we have a God that loves us where
Mm,
we're at.
that's
He
right.
don't judge us. When we mess up, we just say, Lord, hey, I jacked up today. My attitude won't right today. Help me.
That's right.
And he
Mm,
will.
mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
we can go to people like that and be real and say, you know what? My attitude stunk today. Or I messed up. I did this. And the first thing, well, you shouldn't have.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
the beauty that we serve a father that say, hey, I got you.
That's right. Thank God for forgiveness.
Girl. Yes, yes,
Yes, yes. I mean, goodness gracious. I thank God for deliverance. Thank God that, I'm thankful that He does forgive, that He,
yes,
knows who we are through
yes.
and through, in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So you can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to Him.
Girl. And, and you know what? And look, sis, I be talking to God like I talk to you. Because like some days my attitude stink, and some days
Hmm.
I allow people to draw me
Yeah,
into that, that gossip, and then I have to go back. And and I'm in an office where I can go back and I can say, Lord, I don't want this in my life.
right,
You know,
right.
and I asked him, like, if it means me staying put in this box to keep me from being outside this box
Hmm.
and falling prey to all this foolishness, I want to be out of that.
That's right.
I want
That's right.
to,
And
I
that's
want
why
to
it's
be out of
important
that.
to just say, Lord, order my steps, continue to order my
Yes,
steps. you
yes,
know, because I mean, the path is already set. We just got to
absolutely,
allow him to, follow his footsteps, and
absolutely.
know that, we are living in our purpose and our divine purpose.
Yeah, yeah. And then, and I was talking to my mom today because, she is like my rock too. And one thing I love about her, even when I mess up, she never judged me.
Mhm.
She just said,
There's
well, you know
something
what?
about mamas. I
Yeah,
promise you, there's something
yeah.
about
And she
mamas.
would tell me, well, you know what God says. And she never
Mhm.
judged. And she still loved me, but she's still firm. She still corrects me, but she never condemns me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Now my mama, exactly what you said. Now she'll slap, she'll pop my hand one good time from New Jersey. She will
yes,
pop my hand, but she,
yes.
say, okay, now you know what
Right,
you need to do. Get it
right.
together.
Right, right. And that's the beauty of it. That is such the beauty of it. And and I'm just, looking forward to seeing more of your designs on the
Thank
runway.
you. Thank you.
And we just gotta just know who we are and
That's right.
walk in this purpose. Because I was telling my mom, I said, we never know the day nor the hour that our numbers.
I mean, the people are going away from here so quickly, and I mean, the only thing that we need to be focused on is living right and doing right by
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely, because we lost a church member, and then I lost my god sister all on Sunday.
I'm so sorry. I
Yeah,
definitely will be keeping you and your family in prayers, and their family in prayers, and
yeah.
you know.
I mean, and we
Mhm.
just don't know. And and I tell people all the time, especially on my lives, I said when my late husband passed away 3 years ago,
Mhm.
they gave him to April.
Mhm.
They said 18 months. That was in
Mhm.
April. He died in May.
Mhm.
And and I said, like me, a lot of people, oh, life is too short, which was a cliche. But
Right.
for me, when death hit my household,
Hmm.
life is too short. Me, it's a whole
That's a
nother,
whole new
a whole
meaning.
nother,
That's
it's a
right.
whole nother thing because
Hmm.
life is too short. You said 18 months,
Right.
but God said not so. That was in
Wow.
April. He was going in May.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we don't have time for all this nonsense. We,
I
we just have
think
to
if
let,
people really just focused
yeah,
on living in their purpose,
yes.
you know, we get so distracted by everything else going on, all the
Mhm.
noise, all the
Yeah.
social media stuff, all the who's keeping up with the Joneses. Listen, don't keep up with me. You keep up with God. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
If people really just allow themselves to just focus their energies on a purpose, understand it, pray, ask God what it is that you want me to do.
Thank you. I tell people that all the time. We're walking around here clueless, and all you have to do is say, "Lord, what am I here for?"
Hmm.
He'll tell you,
Hmm.
but we don't want to.
Every single time.
We don't want to know sometimes, sis, because it may not be what they want it to be. It may not
That's
be
right.
the glam of the glam, but anything that God has purposed you is the glam of the glam.
That's right. That's right.
But a lot of people think they want their purpose to be over here doing this
Hmm.
for show. But when God say, I need you to love people where they're at. I need you to go ask for forgiveness. Go apologize, make it right. But see, we don't want to do that. We,
Right.
we, we just,
And I'm gonna do a quick interjection with that. I've been doing this pageant for 8 years, and when I started, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna make so much money."
right.
After that first year, God said, "This is not what I'm calling you here to do."
Jesus. Mm.
And He has continued to show me
Hmm.
that this is not what you're
Right,
here to do. You are here to change people's lives.
right.
I promise you, I have been in the red every single year since I started this pageant.
Mm.
And I am being obedient
Yeah,
in knowing that I'm not here to make a whole bunch of money. What I'm
right.
here to do is change people's lives, empower women to see
Mm-hmm.
their true self from inside out, to discover things about themselves they didn't even know they had
Mm,
within,
mm.
you know. And if people take that and use that and really just allow themselves to expound on it, it's so much more than a pageant. It's a
Yeah,
life-changing event.
absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know, I mean, Queen Lanisha is on here. Queen Lanisha is on here. What Queen Lanisha has done, she's my last year queen, my
Mhm.
former reigning queen. She has taken her platform and allowed God to use her in such a way where
Mhm.
in October 2023, she is going to be having a business conference, a women's conference for women all over North Carolina or for wherever they're coming from.
Mhm.
She has allowed herself to go back to school, get her bachelor's, working on her
Yeah,
master's, go get her doctorate. She
yeah,
has allowed herself to allow God to use her in such a way
yeah, yeah.
where now she has her own book that's out on Amazon. You know,
Gee.
you gotta, if you, I,
Mm.
My God, I thank him for this gift
Yeah.
for people to really see who
Mhm.
they are
And
from
see
the inside
who they
out.
are, how he sees them.
Come on.
And you're just the tool and the vessel
I'm,
that he's
that's all I
using
ask to
for
be. That's
them
all I even want to be.
to see
Hmm.
themselves how he sees them.
Hmm. That's it.
Mm. Ha.
I can't even begin to explain
Mm.
what has transpired in my life over. Has it been easy? And has it been easy to say, God, okay, this is my last $200. I got to come out my pocket, Lord. But because you want me to do this,
She said to
and
God be the glory. She's amazing.
what's
Yes,
that?
she is. Lanisha, she said
Oh,
to God be
yes.
the glory. She's amazing. And Robert said yes. But it's just, I took a sabbatical, if you will, but not a
Hmm.
sabbatical from Christ. It's just, I was going to a church, and like this is the church that my late husband and I worship, and
Hmm.
I just couldn't find my footing
Right.
because this is a place that we worship together. Not that, hopefully she'll come back on. But as I was saying, I took a sabbatical because I had to get my footing back to be able. Hold on, let me see if I can get her back. To be able to worship um, the Father. Hold on, guys. You know how Satan always does when we are talking about. I'm gonna see if she's gonna come back on. Purusha, you can get back on, get back on. But I took the sabbatical, but now that I'm back, um, it feels good to be back in the presence of God, being able to worship. Um,
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. My someone called me. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. But and I was saying I took a sabbatical not from Christ, but just from the building because it was so hard for me to get back into the groove because
Mm.
this is a place like him and I worship Sunday after Sunday.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, since I've been back at church, that devil has been on me like white on rice. But one thing he does not know, I won't quit, I won't fold. And that's the beauty of when you know your purpose and you are truly giving these women their purpose
Hmm.
and saying, this is how God sees you.
Mm.
And now that he's given you the tools, you're just his vessels. He's giving you the tools so they can see this is what he thinks of you. Because a lot of times we don't know because we haven't been taught. All
Right.
we've been taught, God is good all the time, God is good.
That's right.
But nobody's tell us that he says we're fearfully and wonderfully made. He has no
Hmm.
respect of person. You can do this.
Right.
And here you are, you're giving, people like Letitia, I hope I'm not messing up her name.
Denise.
You're giving them what he's giving you to give to them. And,
Hmm.
and that's why they're able to go out, write books, go back to school, because he's putting you in place to do those things.
Yeah. And I'm thankful. That a lot of my posts, I say I'm thankful for this journey, um, because I didn't, honestly, if I can be a little transparent, growing up, I was molested as a child.
Yeah.
I was in a lot of different domestic violence relationships,
Mm, mm,
and I never saw this life from. I couldn't see past
mm,
abuse. I couldn't see past any of my childhood trauma,
right,
so to
right.
pick someone like me and deliver me to be able to be the voice for other women, or allow other women to have a
Mhm,
voice where
mm,
I was voiceless,
mm.
you know, I'm, it, it's been an amazing journey. I am thankful for my journey because I can relate to women every single day in some way, shape, or form. Either if they've been sexually abused, if they've
Mhm.
been, in domestic violence relationships, if they, a plethora of different things. I don't know. I tell people all the time, if you've ever seen Slumdog Millionaire, if you haven't, it's such a great story. It's really just an empowering story about how your life situations allow you to be the person that you are later in life.
Yeah.
And basically, the whole story is about a young man that grew up in India, poor, and the different things that happened to him. And somehow or another, as he got older, he ended up on a lottery show and winning the lottery because he was able to answer those questions based on his life experiences, you know? And so I'm thankful for my journey, you know?
Yeah, she said absolutely. She said she grooms queen. And this is the thing, when I wrote my book, it wasn't to shame people, but it was to let people know that when you have all these different traumas, different challenges, it makes you who you are if you allow it.
That's right.
If you allow it, because a lot of times I find when you talk to people, and some of their story, but because of the shame that we have allowed people to put on them, they stay stuck in bondage.
Right.
But I always say, do you think God allow you to come through all of this trauma and bring you out on this side to keep it away from people that may need it?
That's right.
To say there is a God. Yes, I've been through this. Yes, I've endured this, but God.
God.
And if He's keeping you, He's keeping you for a reason. And that's to bless other people, saying, you know what? I haven't always been here.
Right.
But I'm here now.
That's right.
With the scars.
Girl, don't get me started.
With the scars, with whatever it is, I'm still here. Because Purusha needs to help somebody else. I need her to get people here. Because he knows who to pick to get people where they need to be. Not because we're just that good. It's just because he knows you're going to make a difference. And you're making a difference in all of these women that you are involved with.
And I hope to continue it. The reality of the situation is sometimes you have a word, you have a message for some people, and they're not willing to accept it. They're not willing to hear it, so then maybe it's just not for them, and, somebody else will change their lives. Yeah. And I'm okay with understanding and accepting that for what it is, because, through this journey, I haven't always seen eye to eye with every single person that I've come in contact with. We've fallen out. We've, something has transpired to where, I wasn't as effective as I needed to be, or vice versa, so I'm not going to act like I've changed everybody's life, but for the ones that it was meant for, those are the ones, that's who got it. That's right.
And and that's how I look at, when he told me to do this hot topics, because I did my lives because I had a nonprofit for teenagers, and I was selling jewelry, and I was like, I used to have my late husband lay on the couch while I was doing my live, because I'm like, this is like, nope. And so when I started giving encouraging words at the end of my life, he said, I need you to bring it this side. And I'm going to tell you, it takes everything for me to get myself together and come over here. But I always say, Lord, if it's only for one, that's the one that needed it.
That's right.
That's the one that needed it. Because we're living in a world where people are hurting.
That's right.
We don't know if they're going to make it through tomorrow. And we have to be diligent about just making people feel like you matter.
Right.
Just with a smile, just saying hello. People, I go to work and I speak to people and they don't speak. And I'm like, Lord, I don't want anything from it. I'm just saying, I see you. I'm acknowledging you.
Right.
Because that one hello can change somebody's life, because you don't know if they want to end it or whatever. But just you opening the door for somebody in Walmart or whatever, and we have to get out of self,
Right.
because sometimes we get so selfish
Right.
and we overlook people.
Right.
And then when they take their lives or do something else, we'll be like, wow.
Right.
And I said, we have to do better. And
Yeah.
especially God's people. We say we living for him. We have to do better. We have to teach the unbelievers that, hey, we're who we say we are.
Right. But I think the biggest thing, and in addition to that, is that there's a lot of women that want to point and place the blame on everyone else. You know, they want someone to be angry at. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they want someone to say, "Oh, it's because of you I'm this way." But
Right?
you need to utilize the resources that are available. Either
Absolutely.
reach out to God and ask God to
Mm-hmm.
guide you, or a therapist. You know, there's a lot of
Absolutely.
women out here that aren't healed, you know, and
No.
including me. I'm not completely healed. You know, I
Girl,
have stuff. Okay.
me too. Me
I have
too.
stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's be
Yes.
honest. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But
But
there's a
see,
lot that have so much more that it's like you can't realistically think that your thought process is okay. You're like, you know, you can't blame. Sometimes you got to look at yourself. I've had to look at myself so many times that I'm
mm,
like, you can't blame me for your stuff, and you need to look at yourself. You know?
but though it makes you feel good when you can recognize, am I the problem? Do I have the issue?
Right.
What is it? Because we can blame people all day,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, what about you?
That's right.
What about you? Because it's so funny, because God has a sense of humor. And so like
Mm.
what I
Oh,
was going through with my late husband, and I was like, Lord, I want you to change him. I want him to be this way. I want him to be this way. And it was so funny. And God said, what about you?
mm,
Like, you giving me all these demands that you want him to be this, this, and
right.
this, and changing this. And then he said, what about you?
Mm.
And I was like, ooh.
That's good, baby.
I had to take a look at myself. Like, I want all these things for him to change,
Mm-hmm.
to fit me, to accommodate me,
Right. That's right.
to accommodate me. And I'm just keeping it real, to accommodate me. And God said, but what about you? And I was just like, wow. And when you get checked like that, it
Mhm.
makes you realize, like, uh, am I hurting people?
Right.
Am I mistreating people? Am
Mm.
I just saying that I want what I want when I want
Right.
it? It doesn't matter about how this person is feeling. And so I have to make sure I have to make sure that I'm doing a self-examination of me.
That's
And
right.
I've learned that I am not above going back and say, you know what? I apologize. I
Right.
missed the mark.
Right. We definitely have to look at ourselves in a lot of situations,
Yeah.
but then we have to allow ourselves grace, because
Yeah.
maybe in that moment we just didn't know, or we just weren't thinking, or we just allowed whatever to go on and say what we wanted to say, do what
We
we wanted to do, act like we wanted to act. What's
we
that?
let we let that flesh we let the flesh loose.
Every single time. So we are not, I'll speak for me. I am not above, like, being reprimanded, like, okay, Purusha, get it
Right,
together, girl.
right,
I don't mind my people saying that to me, because sometimes I have to look at myself and be like, okay, maybe I am the problem, and I'm okay with recognizing that. Now,
right,
will I recognize it always initially? I'm like, girl, ain't no way. And then once I have some time to think about it, I'm like,
right,
oh yeah, maybe I was the problem. And I get it. And I get it.
right.
It's life, right? But as long as we can grow from it and then learn from those mistakes so that we don't continue that same path.
Absolutely,
And that's what
absolutely.
growth is all about. That's what
Yeah,
healing is all about,
yeah,
allowing ourselves to heal and know that we can do it. We can make those necessary changes to continue to be a good person, and then it just exude into someone else, and
yeah.
someone else see that confidence in you, and someone see that good energy and feel that good energy,
Mhm.
and then it gets from absorbed
Yeah,
into someone else to then pass on, positivity.
absolutely. And so, when is your actual pageant date?
So It's supposed to be okay. So for North Carolina, it's supposed to be May 19th and
You said
20th.
thankful for healing. Yes, girl. We are. I am too. I am too. I'm
Yes.
thankful for healing. Yes.
It's supposed to be May 19th and 20th. That's still our strike date. Like I said, at this point for North Carolina, we're probably looking at some of the local theaters and stuff like that. Because actually, if you look at some of the theaters in these high schools and these colleges and stuff, they have state of the art theaters. They have lights, cameras. I mean, it's a whole big shebang because they put on great productions at a lot of these
Right.
schools.
Right.
But it's
Absolutely.
still set for May 19th and 20th. However, the Virginia pageant is going to be June 23rd and 24th in Danville at the Science Institute. But yeah, those are the dates.
I am going to try to make it. So, are you always keeping it in Durham, or do you move it
This
like
is the first year that I have considered going outside of Durham. Outside of Durham, like, okay, so my first year I did it in Raleigh, and then when I moved to Durham, I was like, oh, I'm always going to do it in Durham. I love Durham. Durham is just amazing.
right?
Marsha's granddad, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Marsha's granddad is C.C. Spalding, so I'm a part of history. You know,
Right.
he was the first, or one of the pioneers of the Black Wall Street movement.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, I love Durham. Like, I'm Bull City through and through. I married the Bull City, if you will.
Right.
And so, but then I was like, you know what? If this is a pageant for North Carolina, let me try to start thinking about going outside of Durham. And so I explored that option. I was hoping to have the pageant at the Greensboro Cultural Arts Center. But
Hmm.
by the time I called him, because I reached out to them in June of 2022.
Right.
And he said, call back in October or November. And when I reached back out, they had already booked it. And I was like, so now here I am scrambling, still trying to find something. I
Well,
actually checked out a venue today, and I'm checking out a couple of venues in
well,
Greensboro on
call
Wednesday.
uh,
Booked.
the Garner Deepak, that little.
The Garner Performing
It's
Arts,
yeah.
booked.
Wow.
Booked. I have looked all the way from Winston all the way to Nightdale, baby. There is no, I've looked in Asheboro, I've looked in Sanford, I've looked everywhere outside of Durham. And the problem is, it's not that some of them have space, and then the ones
Mhm.
that do have space, they're $10,000. I don't have $10,000 to put on no pageant, you know?
Yeah, and I know
So
our community college here just built a nice state of the art. They redid their whole
nice.
auditorium. So check, it's called Sandhills Community College. So
Okay.
check there.
That's in
It's
Fayetteville.
it's right in Moore County,
Okay.
right where we at, right here in Moore
Okay.
County.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and I'm trying to think. What about the place in Durham that Shanair and them had put on a music festival there. It was like at a school, like a school of arts. It was like downtown.
Mm, we do have a Durham School of Arts, and then we have the Durham Armory. Of course, the DPAC, but I would never get enough people for the DPAC. Like, that is just like that's a
Yeah,
whole
but
a whole
this was
place.
at a school because it was
Okay.
downtown. Yeah,
Okay.
downtown.
Yeah,
But if I,
a lot of the schools are renting, so that's what I'm hoping for.
oh yeah,
At this point, I've already, like I said, I'm going to go visit some spaces on Wednesday. I'm actually taking the day off, and that's the thing about this pageant thing. Like,
yeah,
I work a regular 9 to 5 job, right? So
right.
yeah, finding time to do things, I has to be during the day, and so I have to take off of work, sacrifice not getting paid.
Right, right.
But again, I absolutely love it. I think that this journey has been, the ups and downs and the in between times have
Yes.
just made it to be such an amazing journey. I can talk about it. If I've ever had kids, or I can tell somebody else, or the future girls, like, it took a lot for me to get here, but we're here because
Yeah,
I sacrificed. I wanted
absolutely.
this for women to allow themselves to have their own voice, to see the beauty about themselves, within themselves first and
Absolutely.
foremost, and then allow to go out into the world for everyone to hear,
Yeah.
even if it's someone in the audience, if it's somebody that watches it on Facebook or social
Yes.
media, whatever,
Yes.
what have you, your voice is being heard amongst the masses.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to glow, allow God's light to
Yes.
shine through you, and
Yes.
say what you have to
Yes.
say and do what you have to do and inspire someone else while you do it.
Yeah. And before we end, I just want to say thank you. Just thank you for being who you are. Thank you for saying yes. And just give some of our women and our viewers just some encouraging words, just being women.
I'll say, allow yourself to glow.
Mm,
You know, I do a hashtag sometimes, glow on purpose.
yes.
Allow yourself to let God use you. If you're not a religious person, then spiritually allow spirit to guide you. If you are a religious person and you believe in God, believe that God knows what's best for you,
Absolutely.
you know? And then in all things, remember, I love to end with this. Remember, self-preservation is self-love. You cannot be everything to everyone if you are not everything to yourself first and foremost.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm. That's real talk right there. That's real talk.
That's right.
Because
That's
we
that's all I have. That's the word that God wanted me to say on tonight.
yeah. Thank you, my friend. Hopefully, I'll see you again soon. Are you
Yes.
going to Joni's show in October?
More than likely, yes. It just depends on if there's another pageant going on, because now that we have expanded so much, we have pageants in every state and every month now.
Wow.
So I just want to make sure. Hers is the October 23rd or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, or October set. I want to say
Let me
set.
look at the calendar. October, it could be the 7th. So October, I don't know where October 23rd
Yeah,
came from,
October
but
set. Yeah.
October 7th, I might be able to be there. Does she have a monocle? Is she having a monocle? Look, I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't know, but I know you're probably gonna be a vendor, right?
Well, from your lips to God's ears, let's make it happen, okay?
You got this. You got this. Listen. She said she will be. Oh, she said you will be at the conference.
Yes. Yes, I will be
Oh,
at her
okay.
conference. She has a conference coming up. That's what it was. Her conference is in October.
Yeah,
Lanisha, put that conference information down there. I can't remember. I knew it was something else going on around that time, so I just wanted to make sure that
yeah. And then
I
I
wasn't
can
double
share.
booking
Yeah, make
myself.
sure you share it, and then I can share it on my page as well.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So look, she saved you. She saved
Yes. Yes. Yes.
like
Yes.
you at the conference.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, I love you, and I
I
just
love you too, sis.
continue to just pour into these beautiful women because we need women pouring into women.
That's right.
With no jealousy, no nothing, just love, so they can grow. They can, just spread their wings.
Right. And I think the biggest thing is that, the younger generation are looking at these women. They need good guides. And
Yeah,
we can't
yeah,
we can't we can't pour negativity into one another, and then it goes down to your children, and then you're wondering why your children are
yeah.
committing suicide, or doing risque stuff on social media, or not
Mhm.
acting ladylike, or whatever that even means. But you know
Yeah,
we had to start with us so that
yeah,
they can be good,
absolutely.
because the younger generation, that's our future. And we got to
And
do good by them. We have to do better by them. We need a female president. We have to do good by them, you know?
and
Mm.
in this, I went to high school, and I can remember going to school. Like, high school was a place, and middle school was a place. Like, we just go to school like dressed nice,
Right.
and now they're just coming out with anything. And right now, what's in? I guess what's in is these black leggings, and they got these crop tops on. And I asked one of the other coworkers, I was like, can somebody explain this to me? Because we're missing the mark. Like, and it's starting at middle school. They're wearing black leggings with crop tops. And this is their attire at school. And I'm saying
Something
we're missing it.
something has got to change,
Yeah.
but it has to start with the parents at home. And I'm not going to say that all parents know what their kids are doing in school, but we have to really just instill certain things in our children so that they can grow up to be healthy minded, not in the streets doing crazy things, having sex early, all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. I mean, it's just
We
anyway, listen, that's a whole
she
nother topic, baby.
Yes, she put the, thank you for putting the link in there.
Yeah,
I'll share it. If you
yes.
have a flyer, just share it to my page, and I'll continue to share it for you and stuff. So you can pack the house with these women.
Yes. Yes, this is going to be a powerful event. She is a wonderful woman of God, Queen Lanisha, and I really hope that you'll be able to attend as well.
Yeah,
This is going to be
yeah.
really an amazing event she has coming up. So, anyway,
Well, tell
listen,
Marsha
I
I
can
said
go on and
hi.
on.
Yeah, tell her I said hi.
I will.
But like I said, I'm gonna need you. Look, even if you don't have no, if you don't vend, you can do like, get you some numbers, take some pictures, post it on your page.
I know I have to do better. Like I'm looking around this room, like I have hundreds and thousands of dollars just sitting around me right now.
Right, right,
Between my
right.
gowns and listen, that's a whole nother story. I have like over 50 gowns. I need to get rid of them because I'm not going to wear them again. Like
That's what I'm
I
saying.
just, I got to do
Hey,
better.
well, just start off small. Start taking pictures of your earrings. You can do
Yeah.
10 every other
Yeah.
day, and just put numbers and do it that way. I
Yeah.
promise you, it won't sell. I promise you.
All right. I might take that advice. I definitely will. I definitely will. I definitely might take that advice. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
sounds
mean,
good.
you don't have to leave your house.
That's right. That's right.
No,
All right.
all
Thank you
right.
so much for this
You are,
amazing opportunity to chat
yes,
with you.
yes.
It's been great. I thank you for
Thank
your
you.
friendship all through the years,
Yes,
and I wish you much success and
thank
continued
you.
love
Thank
on this amazing journey that God has divinely purposed for you as well.
you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you. All
night,
right. Good
everyone. Thank you
night.
so
Bye.
much. Y'all take care.
All right. You too. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye, darling. How do I get off of here? Okay, there you go.
Okay, guys. So, like I told you, that was my sweet friend Perusia. Guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night, Lanisha. I hope I'm not jacking up your name, but good night. Thank you, and I will continue to share your conference as well. So I told you guys I had this little gift to, we're going to give away tonight. It's called your Liquid Joy, and it means you can put anything you want in here, your coffee, your tea, or you can just set it on your desk and let it look pretty. And it has like little sticky notes. So I gave away one, I think it was last week, and I asked what HOT stands for. And HOT stands for honest, open, and transparent. And so the next question that I'm going to ask, and I will ship this to you wherever you're at, free of charge. We're going to be giving away some gifts all this month and into next month. And one of the prizes as well will be an autographed copy of my book, Imperfect Marriage Saved by Grace. So that's going to be one of the prizes for one of my lives. And so the question is, I always play an intro song before we come on for Hot Topics with Donna. And I want you to be able to tell me who wrote the song and composed the song. And if you get that right, this is your free gift. The first person that I see on this end, whether it's today or tomorrow, I'll check. But I want you to tell me who created the song for this podcast, and this will be your gift. But I also want to encourage each of you as Perusia and I was saying, and I'm going to give you one of her quotes, and this is what I'm going to leave you with. You glow differently when your confidence is fueled by belief in yourself instead of validations from others. We got to start fueling our own fire and being confident in who we are. Stop measuring yourself against the next woman. Be confident in who you are. Remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So, hey, why would you be in competition with anyone when that's what the Father said? Guys, be true to who you are. I, I know what it's like not to have self-esteem, but when I found out who I was, especially in Christ, this is the best feeling ever. And it doesn't mean that you're arrogant because you have confidence. Some people do get arrogant. Yeah, they do. But when you have the confidence in Christ, knowing who you are, you won't be prideful. You won't be arrogant. But people will see the glow on you. They will enjoy being in your presence and say, what is it about them? What is it about her? What is it about him? So remember, when you feel like you want to be in competition with someone, remember what God says. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Karen is fearfully and wonderfully made. Perusia is fearfully and wonderfully made. So that means you don't have to be in competition with anyone because the Father is telling you who you are. And so you don't need that validation from anyone. But I pray tonight that you have a peaceful night's sleep. If you celebrated Martin Luther King, I hope that you also had a great day. But remember, when we do all these celebrations, I have a dream, and you follow this late man, Dr. Martin Luther King. I pray that it's not just for today. I pray that if you believe in what he's done or he has done, have done, that it's not just for one day for you. Make every day count. Make every day count that you want to be the change that you want to see in this world. If you want to see peace, are you showing people peace? If you want unity, what are you doing to bring people together in unity? If you want love, what are you doing to show people love? But at the end of the day, make sure you are being the best that you can be. I will be back tomorrow with another interview here on Hot Topics with Donna, where we interview ordinary people doing extraordinary things in their lives and in their communities. And like I said, if you can tell me who composed the song that I play week after week on Hot Topics with Donna, this will be your free gift. You might have to do some digging. I don't know. But hopefully I will be able to give it away. And I will ship it to you free of charge. And so next week, if this is not gone, I might do this gift or I might do another one. But I will be raffling, or not raffling, but giving away a couple more gifts. And one of the gifts will be my book, An Imperfect Marriage, Saved by Grace. But until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you on tomorrow. I love you. I love you. I love you. Good night. And before I leave, share our videos, share our flyers, but most of all, thank you for your support. for all you do for us here at Hot Topics with Donna. Good night.